Welcome to another episode of Bente's Bag of Holding. And this time we're going through all the sweaters I knit last year. Some of them are gifted, so I don't have them anymore, and those there will be pictures when I reach them I'm going to do this in a chronological order. I'm starting in January last year. And I thought it only fitting to wear the last sweater I finished. It's my Stripes by Andrea Maori that I knit with beehive yarns, cozy and warm advent for 2021. You can see all the colors on the sleeves, all the 24 colors. So it's a bit short in the sleeves, but I like it this way, and I wanted the sleeves to look the same as the body of the sweater. But I tend to pull them up anyway. So, and if you hear scratching, that's of course my assistant Severus Snape. So this sweater is supposed to have more ease than this does, but I did a little boo-boo when I did the gauge swatch, because I got gauge with the 3.25mm needle. And because Sue asked me a question about the gauge, I went in to look at the pattern and realized the gauge I had looked at was the gauge for ribbing. So the gauge for the stockinette was a different gauge. So I've knit the entire sweater in the gauge I was supposed to have for the ribbing. And again, my assistant Severus Snape. But I have about an inch of positive ease in the body and about half an inch in the sleeves, but I actually like it this way. I had to try it several times while I was knitting it because it looked so tiny, but then again I'm getting more tiny as well. That happens all the time now when I knit garments for myself. This looks too small and I have to try it on. Enough about that. Let's start with January. I have notes down here to remember the designers, and I have tried to remember all the yarn. And if there is pictures of me with wearing it, I'll be showing those pictures as well. And that goes for all of the sweaters. If I have a picture of me wearing it, you get to see the picture. So we'll start with the first garment I finished in 2021, or knit in 2021. And it's this one. This is the Laurel cardigan by Amy Christophers. This is actually a free pattern. And it got me to... I suddenly looked really pale when I held up this. Oops. I have to blame part the camera and part the lighting, I think. This is of course too big for me now, but I realized something rather. Because of the cable pattern, you have sort of natural buttonholes all through the cable. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put in another button that looks exactly like this, further in. And then I have two buttons, and what is it called in English? When you fold it over and have two buttons. Anyway, then it fits me, sort of. And this is knit in Drops Charisma. And I'm going to put this away. I'm going to drop them on the floor as I show them to you. I have rather a big stack of sweaters here. There's over 20, I think, or about 20. And the second sweater I finished in 2021 is this. This is also far too big for me now. It was, seriously, it was knit to be cozy. So sort of oversized. But I love this sweater anyway. And I intend to wear it, even though it's too big. And this is knit with a yarn called Drops Nor. It's got alpaca in, so you can see it has a halo. And this is really soft and squishy. And this pattern was so much fun to knit because it was the perfect amount of lace, and then you had the stockinette in between. So I really enjoyed knitting this sweater. This is knit bottom up, by the way. I might knit another one of these in a smaller size. Did I say it was Andrea Maori? And it's pink fizz. And then I had a gap, 2 months where I didn't finish any sweaters. Don't ask me why. I'm not sure what I knit. But here is my, and now we're in April, and this is my V-back tee by Jamie Hoffman. And don't mind the thread. I put a cotton thread through in the neckline to hold it together because it tended to slide off my shoulders. And this is knit with a mini set from Beehive Yarns that I don't remember the name of. And at the bottom there's some Kate Celine because I wanted it a tiny bit longer than I got it with the yarn that was in the mini set. So that's my V-back tee by Jamie Hoffman. So that was April. And then we get to May. And one of the sweaters I knit in May last year I've never worn because I didn't like what it felt like on. And it's the Darren Tee by Jacqueline Sislak from her book Embody. And this is what I don't like. I don't like the way the neckline looks. It rolls down, and because the sweater is too big, it was too big when I knit it. As I said, I'll put up pictures of everything I have, and this I have a picture of me wearing. So if I'm going to wear this now, I'm going to wear it front to back with the opening in the back, I think, and over a dress or something. So this was a lot of work, and I'm probably never going to wear it. This is knit with a cotton wool blend that I bought from hobby.com. It's a commercial one, and now at the top of my head I can't remember what the yarn was called. I can put it down here if you're interested. I'm not doing show notes for this one for obvious reasons, because there would be a lot of work getting all those patterns out. And I have some alpaca fluff in my lip gloss. That's what happens when you try to look pretty. The other thing I knit in May of last year was a love note. I knit this at a tighter gauge than the pattern and short sleeved. And this I've worn a lot. Because I knit it at a tighter gauge because I wanted the pattern to stop higher up so I can wear it without having to wear anything under. So this is, and the yarn is single ply, Arctic Crafts single ply, and the colorway is Plum Jam. So that's that one. And then we're over in June, and the only sweaters I knit in June, I knit 2 different versions of the Magpie Tendency. And this is the V-neck Magpie Tendency. As you can see, it's very, very cropped, but it's supposed to be, and you wear it on top of something else. And this is one of my major problems knitting V-necks, because they have a tendency to do this. So there's a peak where there should be a straight line. We'll just call it a design element. The yarn at the top is Punk Rock Unicorn, and the yarn at the bottom is Yarn Cafe Creations. So that's the V-neck magpie tendency. I also knit another magpie tendency, and this is knit in a wool cotton blend, and this is a brighter color green than it shows on camera. Let's see if I hold it further back, closer to the camera. No. It's sort of a lime green. And this is the original magpie tendency, the one without the V-neck. I like this much more, or should I say much better. English is my second language. And I like this one. And this one it works as a vest over a long sleeved t-shirt as well. So this I might start using more often. So that was June. And I need a sip of coffee. And then we're heading into July, and in July I finished 4 sweaters. We'll start with my ranunculus that I've worn. I worn a lot, and it shows. It needs a reblocking because it's lost its shape, totally lost its shape. And this is a good example of what could happen when you knit a sweater in 100% merino. In a loose gauge, it has a tendency to go all over the place. I regret doing the neckline like this. I tried to do the neckline in a different way, because in the pattern for the ranunculus you have different ways of doing the neckline. I figured I would just start with the amount of stitches that you had after you did the neckline, because I wanted a wide neck. This is a bit too wide. It tends to, if you've seen the movie Flashdance, well, it happens. Sometimes I'm just, one of my shoulders slip out of the neck. It's a look, I guess. This is also Arctic Crafts yarn. It's my old 100% merino base, and the colorway is Tidal Wave. And I've been wearing this a lot. I wear this in the house because of its loose gauge. It's not too warm. So, but as I said, this needs a reblocking. So I'm going to throw this in with my. I'm going to do a machine with. I'm doing laundry today, and I think I'm going to do a load of wool, socks, and sweaters, and I'm going to throw this in with the rest of it. And I actually have a wool setting on my tumble dryer. Not that I ever dared use it, but I do have it if I wanted to. Maybe this is the right garment to experiment with. I'm not sure. I think I'm going to air dry it. Throw it up in the bathroom and dry it there. So that was the first sweater from July. Then I knit a Lydia top patterned by Courtney Little. And that got gifted to my friend Trine, so that one you'll see a picture of. And I really enjoyed knitting that, but it ended up being too big for me. So I gifted it to Trine, and she loved it. I think she wears it over shirts like a vest, more or less. So then we have my No Frills. I've knit this before, and that sweater is actually Snape's bed, because I knit that was the first sweater I knit with a sweater quantity I had dyed myself, and this is years ago. It was before I opened my shop. It was while I was still dyeing yarn just for fun, and I decided to try to dye a sweater quantity. It wasn't completely successful, but I worn the sweater a lot. And Snape decided he loved that sweater, and because it didn't look all that nice, he's adopted it. So it's his bed, and it's on the couch, and he just sleeps on it. And I decided to knit a no frills with a fingering weight and mohair held together, like in the pattern. And I love the color this ended up being. But it's really warm, so I rarely wear it. I could wear it outside later in winter when it starts getting a bit warmer outside. I can wear this. I wore it instead of a jacket last fall. And the yarn for this one is Comfy Cozy Knit, a mohair, Sugar Rush I think, and the fingering weight is my 100% merino in the colorway Møysalen. That's a grey with speckles, and I love the way this looks. But it's really, really warm. And it's mohair, so to me mohair is kind of prickly. So I'm thinking I'm going to knit the next time I knit a sweater with Pullover. I'm going to use my own Surisil Cloud. But this is really nice anyway. So that was the no frills. And the next sweater for July is my Maima by Megan Nodecker. And this is knit in Hedgehog Fibers, colorway Heron. It's all the same colorway, even though I was unlucky with the dye lots, and I didn't realize until I caked it up that it was this big a difference. So I, of course, didn't alternate. Or I did alternate, but I should have noticed that 2 of the skeins were lighter than the other 2. So I had alternated the dark and the light skein all the way through. I was unlucky and did the 2 dark skeins first, so I ended up with the 2 lighter skeins. But because this big a difference, it actually looks a bit like a design element. I wore this a lot last summer. It's a perfect summer cardigan because it has 3/4 sleeves and it's open front. And it's fingering weight, so it's not too warm. So then we're halfway, or we're more than halfway. Whereas my brain isn't working today, because when I'm finished with July, I'm more than halfway. I need more coffee. When I'm picking up the rest of the sweaters, I have to move out of the frame a bit because that stack is a bit further back on the kitchen counter. I'm standing today. I figured this was the best way to do it when I was going to hold up sweaters and show you. So then we'll go with August. And August I finished this. That one I reached from the top. It's a So Faded. And the yarn is Fiber Lily on top. And there we have Unicorn from hobby.com, and at the bottom we have Chromatic Yarns by Hannah of the Corner of Craft. And this is one of my favorite sweaters. I wear it a lot. And this was, I think this is my third. This was my third So Faded. And after going through my stash yesterday, I have ideas for a couple of more So Faded, but I could just as well knit another sweater with 3 different colors. I could knit another stripes, for example, and instead of striping it, I could color block it, or I could do the same 3 colors over and over again in the stripes. That might actually be a good idea, so I might do that, because I love the fit of the stripes. And I might actually knit the other one in the same gauge. Or I could try knitting it in the gauge it was intended to have. But I love it like this, actually. So, but again, Andrea Maori, So Faded. Can you tell I like Andrea Maori, by the way? I love the way she writes her patterns and her aesthetics, and I also love the fit of her garment. And the next sweater I'm showing you is from another of my favorite designers, and that's Jennifer Steingass. But I only knit one Jennifer Steingass sweater last year, and it's this one. At least I think I only knit one. Yes. I knit this one. And this is the Forest Land. And this got a lot of wear. It's too big, but I knit it to be oversized. So it's still oversized. The yarn I've used is Tweedy from Hedgehog Fibers. And the yarn in the contrast color is Malabrigo Rios. And that's a worsted. The Tweedy is a DK, but it works in the pattern. The pattern stands out a little bit, but only I can tell because you can't tell from a distance. And I really love this pattern. It's sort of I'm not sure what I can say it reminds me of, but I like this style of pattern, if you know what I mean. It's sort of abstract. So this sweater is Jennifer Steingass, Forest Land. And now I have to turn over the page because we're getting into... No, I have one sweater left from August, and that's The Weekender by Andrea Maori. This is knit in yarn I got gifted from Sue, Crafty Knitter 7, and it's Roots and Rain. And she gifted me this yarn because she bought it for herself, but she decided she could see pink in it. She was convinced it had a pink hue. I can't see it, but I'm not complaining because Roots and Rain, I would never have been able to do anything, to knit anything with Roots and Rain yarn unless it got gifted. So this is the Weekender, the Weekender Light. By the way, this is the Weekender Light because it's fingering weight. And I haven't worn this a lot because something about the neckline annoys me. Because when I wear it, the front of the neckline tends to fall down, either this way or this way. So either I'm going to tack down the neckline all the way around, if you understand what I mean. So it looks like this. Or I'm just going to have to. Hubby says nobody else notices, but I notice. But I love this sweater. The yarn was really tough to work with. It's a non-superwash and it's really rustic, but it softened up a lot when I soaked it. So that's The Weekender by Andrea Maori. And then we're going to go into September. And we have 3 sweaters from September. I can talk about the first of them first, because that one got gifted. So I only have a picture, and I'll throw in 2 pictures. One picture of the sweater and one picture of the recipient. It was Sue, Crafty Knitter 7. It's knit in Drops Flora, and I thought maybe I should go out of my comfort zone a bit and knit something in a different color. So I knit it in green. Main color was green, and I decided this isn't for me. But Sue loves green, and she's about my size, so I figured if this fits me, it's going to fit Sue. So I just sent it to Sue, and she wears it all the time. She wears it in the house as a layer. So we get to see a picture of Sue wearing it. So that was September, and then I have 2 more. By the way, the sweater is called The Night Forest, and the designer is Casa Pinka. I almost forgot to tell you that. The next sweater I finished in September is the Felix Pullover by Amy Christophers. And this has also got a lot of wear. This is knit in Arctic Crafts Fine Merino Worsted in the colorway Cinnamon Toast. And I've been wearing this When we went to the Christmas market, Christmas village, I wore this all the time because the house we were in was really cold. It was cold in there, so I wore this with jeans, and it's a really cozy sweater. So it's nice to throw over a t-shirt because I'm at the age where you suddenly get really warm, and so I tend to sometimes I wear t-shirts with a sweater on top, so I can take the sweater off when I get warm. And then I'm going to show you a sweater that I hardly ever use, even though it took me years to finish. This hibernated for a long time. But when I finally decided to finish it, I finished it. And it's May It Be by Anna Maria Ötvers. It's really beautiful. It's knit with Rauma lammull garn, lamb's wool, for the main color, and the contrast color is Kauni effect yarn in the rainbow colorway. But the reason why I haven't worn it a lot is I don't like the neckline. I've tried to cinch it in with cotton thread, and I have to do something because I really love this. It's a kind of cropped, but it's really wide as well, so it's really cozy to put over on if you're wearing jeans or anything. But I have to do something. I have to modify the neckline so I can wear it more. I have more of the lamb's wool, and this is a picked up neckline. So what I could do, I could unravel the top. I can unravel the bind off and knit a longer neckline and do some decreases at the top. But that's going to show, I think. We'll see what I do. So maybe I should just take it to my neighbor and get her to do a couple of seams. I have a machine myself, but it's been decommissioned for years, so it's probably going to need some service before I start using it again. So my next sweater, one of my next sweaters is going to be steeked in the sleeves, so I might have to go to her for that as well. I can easily do the seaming myself, but I don't have a machine at the moment. So that was September. And then for November, I'm throwing this in with the sweaters because it's a top and it's a garment. It's my Friday sleepover V-neck that I knit to take with me to the Christmas village because it's knit with my yarn in the colorway Stracciatella. It's 100% merino 4-ply fingering, and a Suri Silk Cloud in the same colorway, that is Stracciatella. And I've been wearing this over long sleeve t-shirts. And it's amazing how much of a difference that makes if you're a bit cold to wear a vest. Because it heats up the important part. And so this has also gotten quite a lot of wear, and that was November. And now I only have 2 sweaters left. Sorry, I have 3 sweaters left. And I hope they're here. Yeah, they're here. I didn't see the other 2 because the top one is so big. So, November. This is also November, sorry. It's the Nomad by Gail Bunn, and it's a monster. This is bulky, and as you can tell, it's big. And again, this isn't this color, it's lime green. This is Patton's Lincoln Fog, and Sue bought this for me in one of her local yarn shops because they had a Lincoln Fog on sale, and they sold it in packets. I think there were 10 skeins in each. Or was it 6? I don't remember but I think it was 10 because she bought 1 packet of the grey and 1 of the green for me. I also want her to buy me some pink. Because I need some pink bulky in my life. But they're probably not on sale anymore. So this I've also been wearing instead of a jacket. And sometimes when I go out to shovel some snow. So this is the Nomad by Gail Bunn. And then I knit another sweater in leftovers from the contrast color because I had enough left to knit an Ursa. And this is by Jacqueline Cislak. And this is my second Ursa. I knit one in orange worsted, Arctic Crafts orange worsted. And this, I haven't worn it yet, but I'm thinking I'm probably going to start wearing it soon. And that's also lime green. You can tell when I hold it back here, that's about right. And that's the same color green that's the contrast color in the last sweater I showed you. And then we have only one more thing, and fittingly enough, it's a Vent Cardigan. It's not knit in an advent calendar. I didn't use advent calendar yarn for this, but I've used 25 different colors. But I got my minis from Nora George's Blanket Club, Harry Potter Blanket Club for 2021. And I've been holding it together with undyed Suri Silk Cloud. And the grey is a cheap commercial 100% merino. And the buttons I got from our neighbor. She used to have a yarn store and she still has a big button stash. I haven't worn this yet, and because of the colors, I think this is kind of spring colors. So I'm thinking this is going to be used as a jacket come spring. And that's it. Those are the sweaters I knit in 2021. I started 2 sweaters in 2021 that I finished in January of this year. One of them is the Festive Yolk sweater, Festive sweater cowl by Skeindir Knits, and that's on hubby because he wears it all the time and he wears it to work. But you've seen it because I showed you in my last podcast, and I'll put up a picture. And the other one is the Felix cardigan that I knit with Tweed Delight from hobby.com, and I also showed you that one on the last podcast. And even though I started it last year, I finished it this year. So that's going to be part of next year's sweater parade. And I knit over 20 sweaters in 2021. Not sure I'm going to manage that many in 2022, but I feel like 2022 might be the year of the sweater. I thought it was going to be the year of the sweater and the year of putting yarn together in sweaters that's supposed to be one color, I think. Because I will try to use more stash this year. I'm not going to go on a yarn diet. Both because I'm a hand dyer, so I don't like yarn diets. Because I'm trying to make money selling yarn. But I have a big stash. I figured out yesterday that I have 75 skeins of yarn, hand-dyed yarn, in my stash. Because it turns out that when you go to your stash page in Ravelry, there's a little button that says export, And then you can export it and you get it up into Microsoft Excel and you get a spreadsheet. And it numbers everything. So you get all the yarns show up on the spreadsheet. I really like the idea of being able to export it as a spreadsheet, because then I can print it out and I can have that as a control. I can tack it off. I'm old-fashioned sometimes. I like doing things with pen and paper. So sue me. But I'm not going to let this drag on. I'm sure I have been talking for quite a while. Let's see. I'm using a different software for recording. This is my second time using it. My son helped me start using it. It's OBS, Open Broadcasting Service System, something. Because I needed software for Windows, because I couldn't use my Mac to record anymore. And he helped me set it up, because I'm an old lady and I needed help with that. And this isn't the podcast epilogue lady, it's Bente's bag of holding, but I can't seem to stop with the epilogues anyway. So I'm going to sit down and knit on another sweater. No, at the moment I'm actually knitting a skirt. And you'll see that's finished, I hope, next Friday on my podcast. So I hope you have a nice weekend, and I'll talk to you later.